Strength of America podcast.
Episode 19. Welcome to Strength of America podcast. We've got Bob Davis.
Bobby Davis.
And we thought we need a little bit more. We've got a lot of testosterone with the two of us. We thought we'd bring one more Bob in. I want to introduce Bobby Smith with RYPT and program out in New Jersey. Great program. Trying to help athletes work on development speed. But the bigger part that drew me to him were a combination of energy and just the whole idea of just keeping athletes safe. So
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
appreciate it. Yeah.
What were some of the things? I think some of the things that we looked at similarities with mine. I know with the number of injuries I had. I'd had 4 knee and 3 shoulder surgeries by the time I was 21, and wanted to do. We always about developing speed and power, but cutting down on injuries was a big reason it brought me in. Is that part of what molded you and got to that point?
100%. Yeah, I had 7 surgeries now. Counting that. So both knees, ACLs, meniscus, ankle, Tommy John, and it was just learning that what I was doing was wrong. And it was like, you always look back at what I wish I would have done. And that's how I train athletes now is, I used to train with a powerlifter that tried to make me a powerlifter in college. And I got super strong, but couldn't, move or jump or run. And it was like, I was a running back that didn't like to run. And I played football, and it was just because I was super strong because I liked getting strong.
Sure.
And then it's like, then the injuries started happening. I had 4 surgeries through college, and I was like, maybe I wasn't doing the right things. And then I started learning and developing and getting more explosive and learning how to run properly. And I was fortunate enough to train at the Olympic Training Center under, Coach Dan Path. And I was like, man, I wish I learned how to run like this when I was in high school or in college. And so those are the things that I would like to instill in my athletes now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think after doing this for 30 years with Strength of America that we do in my time in Nebraska before is just from the parents and now second generation kids we've got coming in is just wish they'd have done something like this with the kids. So that's what we do. And Bobby's been a prime example of that going since he was little all the way through our program, competing at college up in Colorado Mesa there. And staying really, quote, injury-free all that time. And that's what my main goal was, is keeping him so he didn't feel like I do.
Yeah.
At this point when he gets there. Still got halfway to go.
I was blessed as I went through. I don't feel like I think I had one incident in high school where I probably should have had a labor tear, rotator cuff or something like that, like a real weird one.
Yeah.
And I think I was just blessed from all the work, all the rotator cuff and stuff, and just getting strong that I got to avoid that and got lucky to go on and get to compete in state. But all I've had is like broken hands from just dumb stuff, and outside of that, I've been pretty dang lucky. So it's been pretty blessed going through.
Right.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
How about now? You primarily work with, I know you work with a lot of athletes, but female athletes.
Yeah, about 70% female athletes. And I think it's because a couple things. One, my wife's business is housed inside ours, and she specializes in ACLs. So, females, it's an epidemic of how they tear their ACL, and it just so happened that I was still training at that time, and I would just handpick her best athletes. So I started RYPT with 7 stud female athletes. Like 2 of them played at Duke, 2 played North Carolina, VCU, Villanova, Syracuse, and it was like that reputation that started that, wow, you can get these females explosive, strong, faster, and resilient to less injury prone. And it's because of, their genetics, how females are made. They're made to have babies. They weren't made and designed to play sports. And it's just because of that, when they land stiff-legged, they land up tall. And it's their their patterns. So what do we have to do? We have to strengthen their glutes. We have to strengthen their hamstrings. We have to strengthen those external rotators so they can get down these proper positions and then, reprogram their neural patterns. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, and that's perfect. And that's where we found most of them. We do part of that is we do several talks on ACL injuries, how to use them, and we found that there's an average of 250,000 ACLs every year that go on. Yeah. And we found 70% of those are non-impact.
Yeah.
But, yes, we're hitting the ground, we're going. You can't do anything. Somebody blows you off from the side. But most of those are happening from poor landing mechanics and where they're at. That's something that really needs to be addressed heavily.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
And then it's just, the change of direction. That's a big one that we always harp on is like, before we can produce force, we got to reduce force. So we got to make sure that we're getting in the proper angles to not only decelerate, but for performance enhancement, for injury prevention, so that they can land and get in these positions properly so they can re-accelerate. And it's just teaching them, these proper positions.
That's awesome.
I think that's huge too. And I think we've even, just from your jumps course and stuff that we've gone over and different things going through, we've noticed that, some learn how to jump and land, and as they start to use their brakes, it's great, but then some don't know how to transition into movement with some of that power, landing on one leg, how to move or transition transition and different things like that. So I think that's been the big one, to kind of set them in situations so they can kind of realize and get kind of comfortable and learn how to produce power from there. But that's been some real cool stuff from some of that jumps course too. So that's been neat.
Yeah,
that's what mechanics and those sides. We'll make sure we've got a link, and we've got another program we just came out with.
Yeah,
complete warm-ups. And I can tell you, we work with a lot of parents, and a lot of our kids are the 10 to 12, 10 to 13-year-old group, because I want to really work on these kids before they get a lot of bad habits. Let's fix them, because by the time they get to junior high and high school, the amount of volume and the intensity of the training picks way up, and they don't pay attention enough to the mechanics. So
that's it.
This complete warm-up program we have is awesome. Just
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And for us to get this out, I mean, and for you parents, and this is a big thing. The volunteers that are out there, they're expected to know, how to coach football, how to be the strength coach, the speed coach, the injury evaluation, nutrition. And this is a volunteer guy out there that's just wanting to do this thing. And this is any of the sports. But we've got parents out there that want to holler out things. My thing is to either get this for your coaches or yourself get it and say, hey, I want to help with warm-ups and do some things, because I can tell you, after all these years, it's still amazing to watch baseball, and the guys are running laps around, running the pole and back, and that's a warm-up, and now let's pick up the bat and go.
Yeah.
There's some real specific things, and teaching the nervous system how to react to movement, the body, is just awesome. So
it's just instilling those fundamental movement patterns, and it's like no better time to do it in the warm-up, especially at that young age. And then once they get to high school, it's like, all right, well, you can't move properly. Why am I going to throw weight on that? Let me see this in the warm-up. All right, well, the hips aren't getting down properly. Well, is it they're not getting enough ankle dorsiflexion? Let's loosen up those ankles and go through that joint-by-joint approach and making sure that everything's stable that needs to be stable, and mobile that needs to be mobile. And then before we have resistance, but everyone wants to rush the process. They want to get strong, and it's like, well, we have to get stability first before we can build strength. And it's like, you can't rush that process.
Again, what we teach them is they think, well, they need to have extra. They don't have enough time. They don't get it in. But you can do that. You can make 10 to 12 minutes worth you can do a warm-up to get real specific things. We can get a lot of mechanical things fixed, get the body actually ready to react to movement at your points. So we don't need to add to it. And that's the thing we're trying to teach our coaches when we do the clinics. Let's just make it more use for your time, better use, so that we can get more out of it for them. They're going to be a better product for you out in the field, and the kids are going to have less chance of getting hurt, and they actually learn how to move.
That's it.
A lot more.
I've realized going through, especially through yours and then through some different places I'm kind of observing different things through, that you start to realize that you can build a progression and regression in your warm-ups. You can actually get better in that time too. So it's not only about kind of prepping the body and getting the tissue temperature up and all that, but you can get better there, and you can also probably flip that light switch, have a little better workout too. So
definitely.
And talking about that now, flipping the light switch, I know you're pretty big on bringing the juice, and you're pretty intense, and that's what I love when I watch your videos and stuff. How do you go about doing that, or what do you think is the biggest thing that helps you bring the juice and get that buy-in from the athletes?
I think it's just, I love it. Like, there's nothing else than I just love working with athletes. And it's, when you're a coach or you're an athlete, it's all about you. And then once you're a coach, you have to realize it's not about you anymore. It's about them. And realizing your session is not the most important part of the day anymore. And it's that initial understanding that I feel that my time and energy has gone towards building them and getting them stronger, and knowing that I need to bring that energy and passion that I did when I was an athlete into my session, into their session. And then that's when you start getting the buy-in. That's when you start getting that culture, and you really start seeing that process develop. And it's
and that's awesome. That's a big part of what we need. And that's what we decided to bring you into it as well, because it's got to be about the kids. And that's the whole idea.
That's
it. We got to get them excited, but it's not just about jumping around and moving. Let's get the fundamentals. Let's get the system down. So appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to have all the links below. Make sure you check out his program, RYPT. I'll have the links in there. And it's really just reaching your potential training. And that's the whole idea.
That's
RYPT.
it.
That's what it's about. So we'll have all that, plus the complete warm-up things, all the links. You can get that out. We'll spread the word. Thanks for being a part of the Strength of America family. Make sure you subscribe, share it, link, get all that information out, and let us know what questions and topics you've got coming on. We've got some other coming up to you in the next couple of weeks as well. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You take care of those kids.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.